Hello everyone, this is Korath Landwalker, and tonight, another exciting episode in Star Trek Online. Last week, my Klingon recruit character completed the Delta Rising arc, the Delta Quadrant arc. So this week you would expect me to go straight to the next arc where all hell breaks loose. Come on, you didn't think it was going to be that simple, did you? No. I have something else in mind, and this will take a number of streams to go through, but I think it will be worth it because I feel like that some things should not be forgotten. So first, we're going to bring Zidane into the game and take care of the usual administrivia. Then I shall reveal the plan. That sounds so impressive, doesn't it? The plan. It's not much of a plan. So, first things first. Reputation. I've gained a couple reputation projects. Romulans continue. Throwing the daily for that. Delta Alliance continue. And I'm still good for at least 2 more dailies. Hey, Cap, how are you doing this evening? I hope things are going well on your end of the monitor. And the competitive war games, that the only reason I'm doing is because it's one of the few that I haven't gotten to tier 5 or higher, so. Why not Zidane? Although it looks like he's going to be running out of competitive marks in the near future, so he may not be getting much further. Well, these things happen. For skills, I haven't checked on my specializations lately. I did get a point somewhere along the line, so we are going to grab another one of the Miracle Worker boys here. And we're just going to, well, do I want to do that, or do I want to do this ground heal where... Decisions. Nope. We'll keep it simple. Why overcomplicate things? And that takes care of everything I need to do on... Okay, I'm not panicking yet. Did I take precautions? Yes, I did. Sometimes those traits just vanish by magic, but I took the precaution of creating a loadout for the ship, and that seems to fix everything. So I expect to do this going forward an awful lot whenever I can remember to do it. Now, when I've got everything pretty much set up for each level, well, each rank, that opens up a trait to save the loadout, and theoretically speaking, I should be able to get it back without having to completely randomly go through my traits all over again. Which is a pain in the royal posterior. It's also worth mentioning that I am moving my way to my final tier of Starship Mastery. Shall we not revenge? And I gotta say, I like the ability, but it's gonna take a while to get there because I need 44,000 XP, and to do that would require, well, okay, it doesn't look so bad when I look at it under here. But this is the XP that goes with this is only XP gained from killing starships. It's very specific. Other administrivia? My Admiralty missions, where I am pushing myself to get towards the magical 10th tour of duty, where I will get the precious specialization points. Not to mention it gives me a reasonable amount of energy credits. I mean, I got 200,000 just off of that. 1,000 dilithium ore. You know, these... Oh, plus another 20,000. So it's good stuff to do these things. Now, I do want to mention, though, that if I get 2 campaigns of Tier 5, I get another slot. So, you know, I am motivated to do a little work on the Ferengi. Yes, I do feel a little dirty by having to... 200 engineering. That's going to be ugly. Where's my ignore engineering ability? Here we go. That helps marginally. But this is going to have a really high chance of just not cutting it. Now, I have gotten a few one-shot cruiser things. I'm not entirely sure how. And I'm probably not going to trust them. 91% chance, so I like the chances. It's not great, but it doesn't completely suck. Not completely. Grab this one because it's simple. Don't do that one. That has an ignore science. I like having the ignore science, but I prefer to have it when it's more important. That ought to do that. It's always great when I can do a single ship doing the entire job. That's how you know that you've done well. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to have the same sort of luck on this guy. And a little bit of engineering on him. Ferengi Tour of Duty. Always grab the Tour of Duty when you can. Do I have any ignore tacticals? I'm pretty sure I have one that's ignore tactical. Well, I'll be darned if I can figure out which one. I'm sure that if I actually bothered using the filters on the tacticals, I would probably find it a lot faster. There we are. What can I say? I'm lazy that way sometimes. I am trying to grab the ones that give me the most XP in the Ferengi. Oh, and this is Admiralty XP. Also, don't forget to always get call to arms. Wrong game, noob! For those who are familiar with my streaming schedule and have seen my Star Citizen streams, you will probably recognize that refrain. Because it is the mission one does not go without if you plan on taking out enemy starships. That will not be the case for today, however. Mainly because there is no such mission like that. Okay, that takes care of all the Admiralty stuff. I think we are ready to rock and roll, and here's the big picture. When you look at the list of episode arcs, you will see that the next one on the list is the evocatively named Iconian War. But we're not doing that this week. And we're not going to do that next week. And probably not the week after. Probably not for another month. Why, do you ask? I know, I'm assuming. Because we're going to do something, we're going to do a few missions that were wrongfully torn from their proper place. You see, once upon a time, there were a number of feature episode arcs that had been released in the early days of Star Trek Online, and they were extremely well received. One of them still exists in the main episode chain today as the Romulan Mystery Arc. But there were 3 others, unjustly yanked from the episode chain. It was wrong. Especially because some of those missions have relevance to things that happen during this episode, Jane. So we are going to right the wrong. And the reason I had to wait until now, and technically speaking I didn't have to wait till now specifically, but the reason I waited this long was because they're only available to max level characters, which makes, again, no sense. Especially given the timing of some of these events. In fact, the mission arc we're going to start today used to take place after the Borg advance. So we've gone through three entire episode arcs past where this fit in the original chronology, so to speak. And I find that is just wrong. So we are going to look at this as a flashback, a simpler time. And of course it also means that, the devs have not been highly motivated to do any major updates to these missions. So yes, there will be things that go horribly wrong as far as, dialogue or other interesting bugs. And I will undoubtedly rail against them as we do so. To get to these missions, you have to go to the Available tab on your journal here. And you kind of have to know what you're looking for. Luckily I do. And we are going to start the Cold War.
The Empire owes a debt of honor to the Deferi, a species native to the Alpha Quadrant. They have suffered several attacks in their space and require our assistance. Provided, uphold the Empire's debt of honor.
Now you got to appreciate the short lead-in. Nothing big. Just hey, we owe them a debt of honor. They need help. Go do it. This is kind of almost a wrapper mission because it basically kicks off. It gets you to where you need to be to pick up the mission. So,
serve the Empire well.
We are going to bap ourselves through the Alpha Quadrant, flying my exceptionally well-designed, legendary D7 Klingon battlecruiser.
The Lucari call this system home. Some of our neighbors, like the Deferi and the Denobulans, have been most welcoming. Others, like the Nakul and the Zenkathi, have been somewhat cold and distant, even hostile.
Yeah, that voice is... the person belonging to that voice we have not yet met. Although, depending on how long you've been watching my streams, you may actually recognize her voice after all. But in the meantime, here we are at Defera, and we're going to go on with the dialogue here. The homeworld of the peaceful Deferi. Defera is a ringed M-class world with a population of approximately 3.8 billion. Deferi value the balance of being close to nature, and many will work in cities but have homes in nearby forests or mountain ranges. In the past 30 years, the Deferi have become concerned that their growing population is out of balance with the resources available on the world. They are increasing colonization of other systems in the region to rectify their population problems. And now, we'll turn over to Ambassador Surah. Honorable servant of the Empire, I need you to undertake what could be a rather unusual mission. I understand that diplomacy can be seen as a task unworthy of a warrior in the Klingon Empire, but I sincerely believe that you are the best person for the task. Clearly, Ambassador Surah has heard about our exceptional work in the Delta Quadrant, making that alliance together, bringing the alliance together by Klingon diplomacy, which went about as well as you might expect. Hey, we still won the war. Ahem. Your High Council has agreed to send a representative to Defera for formal diplomatic discussions. You will be that representative. We have been friends of the Empire since the time of Emperor Sompek. We were happy to assist his fleet in its time of need, and we have been most gratified by your loyalty to us over the years since then. go to the FotR's system, and you will be given more instructions there. And thank you. This means more to us than you realize. Our trifecta of rewards: experience points, expertise, and dilithium ore, and you will notice that the dilithium ore is puny here. The XP, kind of comparable. And one of the following: a Cryo Grenade, which is basically a limited use freeze grenade, or a polarized parabolic deflector array. And you'll notice that this is part of an equipment set, the Absolute Zero. Which, it's okay. So let us accept the mission and begin the episode known as Cold Call. You may be noticing a theme already with the naming of these missions. There is a reason. We'll get to it. We've arrived at the FotR's system, sir. Performing standard sensor sweeps now. Sir, some of this debris is only days old, but there have been no reports from the FotR of accidents or combat in this area. I don't like the looks of this. I recommend that we proceed with caution. The Jessica is standing by for the approach to the FotR, sir. Shall we begin our escort? Yes, apparently, nobody told us that we would be escorting somebody in to the planet. Ah, and there he is. Greetings, honored ally. It is good to meet you. We appreciate the Empire's willingness to meet with us in these trying times. Hey, Legend Eternal, how are you doing today? Hope life is treating you well. We are not doing the expected Iconian War, but rather going into the past of Star Trek Online by doing one of the feature episodes that was ingloriously yanked out of the episode chains. And I am righting that wrong now. Mainly because I had to be level 65 to actually do the mission. And I didn't want to do it in the middle of the Delta stuff. So, Jessica. There we are. There's Jessica. And he just flew right through that asteroid. Now, theoretically, there may be problems here because my engineer just pointed out that there's an awful lot of debris here for something that shouldn't be here. Oh, right. One of the other things I didn't mention here is I've got an endeavor here about harvesting space materials. I can get myself a free endeavor nailed down if I just get that taken care of here. So why don't we grab that? And let's see, is there another one? There is another one. That's right, Jessica. I'm ignoring you at the moment because, dagnabbit, I want to get this endeavor out of the way. There it is, all the way. Sir, we're picking up an approaching warp signature. Attempting to identify it now. Yeah, I'd love to do that, but we're gonna let's leave the Jessica to its fate right now. It's a hard. Let's put it in the same theme as the episode, shall we? It's a cold world. Sir, the ship was running a subspace jammer, so we weren't able to get a lock on it before it warped out. I am, however, picking up a residual warp signature, and we might learn more from a detailed scan. Well, we'll go ahead and do that momentarily, but first we gotta take care of this little detail here. And there we go. Endeavor complete. Now at some point I can open up the Endeavor box and see if I got anything interesting. Probably not. Now somewhere around here I should be able to start scanning for that warp trail. Oops, that's not bounce off that. Oop, there's the Jessica. And I guess that's the, yep, there's the warp particles. I probably could have used a scanner to find that. Not enough here to get a warp lock on the warp trail. The ship is using jamming technology. Alright, well, we'll just have to continue on the mission. If whoever it is comes back, and if they have hostile intentions, they will understand their folly of challenging a Klingon warrior on a Klingon vessel. Unfortunately, what we don't have is one of those nice little rings telling us when I'm going to be close enough to go to the next part of the mission. Well, I did say this was an old mission, didn't I? Oh, they just hit their brakes. Greetings, Jessica Escort Ship Salah. We are required to identify your credentials and verify you are in fact the correct ship prior to granting you access to Defera. Please submit to a scan at this time. Very well, do so. No assistance is required at this time, Salah. Thank you for your cooperation. Our scans are complete. Please provide us with your clearance code before you establish orbit around Defera. Our Defera access code is 946W2QOS. Thank you for the protection and escort. Your readiness to aid us against potential enemies is a mark of honor. Perhaps later we will be able to learn more about that strange ship. For now, let us discuss the possibility of mutual protection and assistance between our peoples. My attaché will send you the planetary coordinates for transport. These coordinates will take you to one of our famous historical parks and preservation sites. I trust you will find Defera impressive. When you are ready to talk, please meet me on the steps of the historic tower. It will be across the park, past the monument, when you arrive. I've received planetary coordinates from the Jessica. Are you ready to beam down, sir? Yes, I am. And let us take a look at our usual cast of characters for the away team. Valkrav, my engineering and intel specialist. Siege, my science officer. Valera, my combat expert. And finally, Sarek, potential homicidal... Well, is it really called... Can you really call it homicide if the killing was done to another Gorn? Gornicidal? And we can't really prove that he killed off the previous Gorn doctor. It's just a strong suspicion. Whatever. Beam him down. Now we're going to take a second to appreciate this area of Defera. This was a pretty impressive bit of work back in the day. And it does kind of look a little different than some of the planets that have been designed in the years since. But that's like to think that just makes it stand out. It has its own character. Got ships flying above. Well, not necessarily ships. They might be more along the lines of private aircraft. And the design of some of the stuff they've got going on here is still pretty cool. Now that said, bugs do happen, although one of the bugs seems to have gone away. Part of this bridge used to be invisible because of a bug, but I guess they fixed it somewhere along the line. I can only guess. In some ways, this almost reminds me of Memory Alpha, except outdoors. Except Memory Alpha doesn't exist in the game anymore because they took it out once they started revamping crafting. The second iteration of crafting, because our current iteration of crafting is the third. They never did feel like they got it quite right until recently. And up there is the Ambassador. Now, before we have a chat with him, I'm just check one more thing. I'll look over my Klingon recruit stuff and see if anything has changed up since last I looked. Oh, the obvious. I completed the Delta Arc, so therefore, I can claim 3 pieces of Klingon equipment of either rare or very rare quality. Photons, shields, and disruptor beams. Oh, it doesn't stink. Do I wanna? I wanna. We'll replace the forward phaser array. And that's it. I'm not going to put this torpedo up there because this is a better torpedo launcher, and I'm using mines for my aft, so I don't feel any immediate need to mess with that. How about deflector array? Is this a better deflector array? I think this is a marginally better deflector array, so we're going to replace my deflector array with the Kobali's deflector array. And let's get that Endeavor reward out of the way now. Yay, R&D materials and credits. The two most worthless things for me. Well, maybe not credits, because credits can always be useful. But we could have done so much better. Ah well, such is life. Now we will chat with Ambassador Sura. Welcome to Defera, honored visitor. This site is the oldest continually inhabited site on my world, and as such, we find it to be the ideal place to welcome visitors. Tell me about the Deferi. We have an old culture steeped in tradition and respect for all beings. The Makers taught us the concept of balance, and we strive for it in all things. For more than a century, we have remained neutral in our dealings with other worlds, for where there is balance, so also is there truth. We are now looking to expand. Our population is growing to a point where we will put a strain on our world's resources to correct this imbalance. A portion of our people have volunteered to seek new homes among the stars. This, of course, has put us in greater contact. Yeah, I've ranted about spelling errors before, haven't I? With beings such as yourself, and we welcome the new ideas and technology that you have to offer. Perhaps by looking inward for so long, we have become out of balance with the galaxy as a whole. I look forward to your help in correcting this. Tell me about the ruins to the east of here, even though and technically... Okay, that's a dock. So there's apparently ruins somewhere to the east of here, which maybe it's over here. I'm sure that won't be relevant later. Tell me about the ruins east of here. We must have scanned them when we were coming in orbit or something. We believe that the site to the east of here was once used by the Preservers, because we have located several artifacts that appear to correspond with their technology. Although we do not know for certain, it is our belief that the Deferi were one of the races seeded throughout the quadrant by the Preservers. They, like us, revered balance and saw life as sacred. They went to great lengths to preserve all life. Tell me more about balance. Yeah, I just can't help it. Everything must be in balance. When one side is dominant over the other, the inequity breeds resentment. The resentment leads to hatred and misunderstanding. On our world, there is equity in everything. All major decisions are made by polling the populace, so that a small group of leaders will not have power over the whole. Persons in what can be deemed leadership positions, like myself, serve at the pleasure of our people. If we abuse our positions, there will be imbalance, and we will be removed. Why don't you tell me about these Preservers? I never paid much attention in science class. The Preservers were an ancient race that died out eons ago, but made a great impact on the galaxy in their time. The Preservers would transplant members of races that were threatened by extinction to worlds where they could thrive. The planet Amarant was settled by them, and they brought ancient Terrans there to create a new community. For many years, scientists theorized that the Preservers were responsible for the spread of humanoids across the galaxy. We now know that the Preservers not only transplanted communities, but also created them. the Preservers believed they were alone in the galaxy. In the hopes of creating an ecosystem of races like themselves, they seeded genetic material on other planets. In this way, they gave their children the companions that they never had. Well, that's all interesting, but, sir, sensors from the SLA are picking up green transporter signatures. The crew is prepared for battle and awaits your command, sir. Well, the first thing I want you to do is... Oh! Looks like we have problems right on the ground. Have to talk later. So we are now in conflict with the Breen. They became a relevant factor in the later seasons of... Well, not just the later seasons, but the last episodes of Deep Space Nine. Although they did have a couple appearances prior to that, where they would basically come in these refrigerated suits, and no one had ever seen what they looked like inside their suits. Although apparently Major Kira has, but hasn't said anything about it since they never remarked on it again. And, well, you know, if you look at them, they remind you of that bounty hunter armor that Princess Leia used in Return of the Jedi when she was infiltrating Jabba the Hutt's place. You'll have a better view of it when we see a dialogue with one of these guys. Yes, I am still using melee weapons. Never know when I might finally be able to get to that magical, massive 2,000 kill mark. It'll be a while. So we got 5 hostiles in the city, although, well, hostile groups, although 2 of them are down. And apparently a couple have beamed to the ruins that were spoken of. Oh, no wonder I can't find them. They're on the grass. Well, why don't I greet them with a little fire. Plasma fire, that is. Heh, that was satisfying. Oh, no you don't. So far, so good. Oh, 1 second. My phone is ringing. Predictably spammy. That should take care of that issue. Alright, let's say hello. Now, where are the other guys? Oh, right over there. Let's give them a little fire. Ooh. Double foot kick, take it down. Love it when a plan comes together. One more group in the city, and we can move on to the ruins. Gotta adore those kicks. Oh, siege is down. Yeah, one of the things that these guys make these guys really dangerous are their cold weapons, especially the heftier looking guys, because they use these really nasty cryo guns. Somebody gets siege on her feet. Thank you, Valkrov. You would think that Sarek the Doctor would have been the first to do that, but I guess that would have made too much sense. Gorn. So, we have a convenient path leading out of here, so we're going to follow the path. Even though that it is extremely winding, and it would be much easier for us to just walk on... Oops. Oh, I wouldn't want to miss these guys. Tactician, huh? Let's see your tactics handle this. Being in a refrigerated suit, they've got to hate being stuck in a plasma fire like that. I think one of my people kill stole one of my... Okay, well, here we are. And it looks like we have a significant number of green here. Clearly, melee is probably not the way to go here. Ooh, one-shot kill. Love it when things work out that nicely and neatly. Well, this is working out rather well, isn't it? Well, that looks interesting, doesn't it? Klingons, your empire desires war, and we shall oblige. We will wrest the preserver secrets from this place, and we will destroy anyone who attempts to stop us. Thought when? When? Now. Oops, get out of the way. Yeah, I was talking about those cold weapons. That was the cold weapon one of the weapons I was talking about. Ice grenades. Some call me snow miser. Whatever I touch. Nope, can't do that. DMCA will have a fit. So let's take a look up here, just for the giggles. An intriguing looking location, isn't it? You would think that we'd be doing something with this. But apparently not. Obviously, it is not safe for me to remain here, given the threat of further attacks. So what do you want to do now, Ambassador? I shall return to the Jeska for now, honored ally. I believe I will be of best use there. Sir, there are more ships warping in. We need you and the away team back on the ship, sir. Prepare for emergency transport. Alright. Why do I have 2 Hortas out? Some things I don't question. So, about to go out into space and see what the Breen starships are like. Honestly, after dealing with Vodwar so much, it will be such a pleasure to deal with normal ships. You know I'm just setting you up, right? No, the Breen have a couple tactics and weapons and stuff that they like to use that will complicate things. Now you can tell this is a really unoptimized map here because it's taking forever to load in. I mean, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Only at 5%. Okay, technically 6%. Oh, there we go. Up to 30. Things should accelerate from here. Sir, the Breen are attacking the Jeska. We must move to defend them from the Breen dogs. I wholeheartedly agree. Cloak. Prepare all weapons and fire. The battle begins. So far, only dealing with some frigates. Nothing too impressive, but they do have numbers. Yeah, this is where we start seeing some of the pain in the butt that they are. The Breen love using tractor beams. they will do their best to stuff you at every opportunity. Of course, with this character, I can indulge in some payback because I am using tractor beams. Well, tractor mines, technically, but close enough. Let's see if I can hit this guy again with a few torpedoes. That's right, you can stop, you can slow me down, but you can't stop me. Here, let me hit you with the other side. You will use tractor beams to hold me in place. I will use tractor beams to knock you out of my way. Oh, rough break. Caught by his... Okay, I shouldn't have been getting ready to mock him about his tractor beam because he just hosed me with his. Life is filled with irony. Oh, and now we have something a little bigger. A warship. Oh, and it looks like they've got little fighters helping him. How annoying. Okay, it looks like we might have a tiny problem. Taking a bit more damage than I really want to be. Did I just put a whole bunch of stuff on a fighter craft? That's embarrassing. Cloak up. Buy myself a few moments. Get myself situated. And attack. Shielding is definitely taking a beating here. On the bright side, the tractor beams are still holding him in place. But the downside is his shields do not want to go. Okay, now we're kind of biting in a little deeper. It's taken a bit of damage. Not as much as I would have liked. But you know, you take what you can get. For 60% and dropping, which means I'm doing better than he is. It's the little things, you know? Oh, he's certainly standing up to the beating, isn't he? It's one of those sacks of health. Yeah, I think I'm going to at some point get rid of that intelligence team. I thought I got rid of the intelligence team. I might have to look again. Oh! No, I know what happened. It was my loadout. I redid the loadout and that hosed whatever settings I had before. I gotta fix that. Just not right now. Oh. Ha! Down to 40 some. And it ain't over yet. Every one of those tractor beams got a hook on them now. $35%. Won't be long. His days are numbered. Ooh, and look at all those drops. Nothing I plan to keep, but, you know, it's something. Sir, the Breen have no honor, but they are cunning. If they are attacking a race like the Teferi, there may be more going on here than is readily apparent. We shall have many stories to tell when we return to Kronos. Not every crew can say that they have defeated the Breen in battle. We're being hailed by the Jeska, sir. Routing the message to the main view screen now. Thank you for the assist, Salah. We took some damage, but it's nothing that a few days in space docks won't fix. You do your Empire honor by assisting us. Honored ally. I have not been completely honest with you. Really? And my actions are out of balance with the universe. I apologize for my secrecy, but my people felt it was the best course of action. Many years ago, in the time of Emperor Sumpek, we assisted a Klingon fleet that was heavily damaged in an attempt to explore the Badlands. We helped them repair their ships and heal their wounded. In exchange, the Emperor in his wisdom told us that if we ever had need of the Empire's assistance, all we needed to do was ask. We are asking now, honored soldier of the Empire. The Breen are attacking our ships and colonies. Hundreds have already died, and I fear that more lives will be lost unless we have your assistance. My people face destruction. I cannot believe that the balance of the universe requires us to die. I must see to the safety of my people now, but please contact me after you have left Teferi space. I can only hope that your efforts will tip the balance in our favor. Grumble, 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 grumble. And looks like I have to go out the hard way. So let's just exit on out. I mean, if all they needed to do was ask, they could have done it without the song and dance. You are a friend to the Teferi. We will speak again, and it is my fondest hope that you will be able to repair the balance and save my people from the Breen. We will speak again soon, honored ally. So we're going to grab the Cryo Grenades, because at some point, we're going to use them. Although apparently I only get one. I could have sworn we got more than one. Oh well, have to save it for a special occasion. But before we start rolling with the next mission, let me go back to my stations. And I guess I swapped it out for intelligence team because, oh, here we are. Emergency the shields. And go to Salah, loadouts. And overwrite it. And now I should not have any problems with my situation. Theoretically. Always theoretically. I could have sworn. Maybe it was a ground thing. I had sworn that I'd put together something. Oh well, I'll work it out. So, let's have another chat with Ambassador Sura. Now, once you do the first mission, it opens up a daily mission where you can go to, well, I'll show what it has. It has a decent amount of dilithium. I mean, it's like an eighth of what you can maximally refine. Maximally? Yes, word. But a modest amount of XP and expertise. And it's basically a patrol mission. Although, I'm not entirely sure if it's in the... I don't know if it's even in the patrol mission interface. Let me take a quick peek. Well, obviously not, because they say beta and delta, but this is the alpha. This is the alpha quadrant, so these missions were never actually put in the patrol list. So these are actually almost a more pure version of the patrol as of the early days of Star Trek Online. We're not doing that, though, because we're sticking with the episode chain. And the next one in the list is Out in the Cold. Yeah, you can see the pattern here, right? I mean, for heaven's sake. My stream title basically ties into the whole theme. Why would I be out of step with the rest of the episodes? We have lost contact with 2 transports en route to the outer colonies. There were more than 400 Deferi on those vessels, and with the rising threat from the Breen, I fear the worst. Their last known location was near VZA-4001, and I suggest that you start your search there. The Breen have no compunction against attacking civilian ships. We seek peace with the Breen, as we do with all beings, but they answer our offers of friendship with death and destruction. Find our ships. If there are any survivors, please bring them home safely. And we have the usual trifecta and the Breen Transphasic Cluster Torpedo. Unfortunately, that's another one that I'm probably not going to use because it can't really be affected by high-yield torpedoes. I do admit, though, I do like the idea of having it create a bunch of mines. Because they'd probably be affected by the relocate mine ability I've got there. But it's usually not a problem because the torpedo is launched, it hits the target, or it gets near the target, it breaks out into the mines, and the mines immediately converge on the target. It's usually not a problem. So, we are going to zap ourselves to VZA-4001, and because I believe in not making you suffer through travel through sector space, not unless I really need to. And here we are. You know what? It didn't actually put me at VZA-4001. Well, I did say this was an old mission, didn't I? Looks like we are going to have to suffer through sector space. But it's not horribly far. I mean, it's in the same sector. It could be worse. It could be lots worse. Now, you see this Deferi patrol? This guy is actually part of that daily. One of the possible things I could do would be to go help that patrol out. VZA-4001 is an uninhabited star system. The 3 planets of the system were destroyed approximately 5,200 years ago when one of the 2 stars in the system collapsed, creating a black hole. Ooh. The gravitational pull from the black hole was at an angle from the planets, and the gravitational shear tore the planets apart. The area is on the major trade route for the Defera sector. So yes, we are going to be flying among the wreckage of planets. Sir, we are receiving an emergency distress signal from the Deferi freighter Sabak. I am passing it through to the main view screen now, sir. To all ships in range, This is the Deferi freighter Sabak. We are under attack and require immediate assistance. We have no weaponry aboard, and our shields are failing. Anyone who can hear this, please help! It must be one of the Breen raiding parties in the area, sir. If we hurry, we may be able to intercept them before they finish off the freighter and leave the area. Another opportunity for glory, and a chance to show the Deferi the might of the Empire. Again, I like where your head is at. Cloak! And it seems like we're going to have to go pretty close to one of those glowy areas. It's too bright. Up there's Sabak, and there are the enemy. Breen frigates. Sucks to be them. It's showtime! Yeah, and they're already hitting me with their cute little tractor beam tricks. But they will have cause to regret that. Because their tractor beams are no mite for a battle cruiser of the Klingon Empire. Oh, so you think that will be a problem for me? Fools. I have but one regret, and that regret is they give me little in the way of experience points for my Starship Mastery. That said, I'm impressed by the fact that that frigate is still intact. There we go. Ooh, 2 for 1. Victory is ours! Thank you for saving us. Our sister ship, the Pactau, was waylaid by Breen raiders at our scheduled rendezvous point. We made a micro-warp jump as soon as the Breen arrived and used the magnetic field of the comet to hide our energy signature. But the Breen have better sensors than we do. They found us. If you hadn't come along when you did, we would have been obliterated. I'm worried about the Breen being at our next stop, so I'm going to try to get there ahead of schedule and be gone before they arrive. If you could, please find the Pactau. There were dozens of people aboard that ship. This is the Deferi ship, Pactau. We escaped from a Breen slaver attack, and our antimatter containment unit and warp coils are non-functional. We need some replacement parts immediately. We are on the edge of a warp core breach. That's bad. Is there any ship in range? Please, we need help. We can accommodate. Let's get the location nailed down. And cloak, because call me untrusting, but the Breen have shown themselves to be without honor. And I would prefer not to be caught by one of their tricks. But no, there's the Pactau, and I am not detecting any ships, so we will decloak and beam aboard parts. Sir, there are Breen ships inbound at Warp 7. 2 waves from the looks of it. The first should be on top of us in a few seconds. Battle stations! Well, far be it from me to ignore the possibilities of a glorious battle. Oh, yeah. All this time I didn't activate my damage aura. No wonder I'm not doing as much damage as I could be. How embarrassing. Gotta respect their shields. Their shields are holding up quite nicely. They are, however, insufficient. Ooh, target shields have failed? Bad timing. Ooh, that looked like it hurt. Let's see if we can pile on. Because in the Klingon language, there is no word for overkill. In fact, I'm pretty sure about it. If you look up the Klingon dictionaries and try to find the word overkill, I can almost guarantee you will not find it. Now that said, they did say there was 2 waves. So with that in mind, one has to wonder. Additional breed detected. They will be exiting warp in mere seconds. Well, let's take advantage of the moment to shore up our shields a little bit. Alright, I have the emergency powered shields available too. Up is a warship, and these guys are known to be rough. I actually have a Klingon dictionary somewhere. Someone gave me one for a gift years ago. Yeah, I've got one too. I think I might even have it signed by Mark Akuda, or whatever the fellow's name is, from way back in the day. I can't 100% prove that, though. It's been ages since I've actually looked at mine. That was when I realized there was no way in hell that I was going to learn how to speak Klingon. Yeah, those little ships that the warship likes to pop out are really, really annoying. On the other hand, at least I'm taking this guy out faster than his bigger brother back at the battle at Defera. On the other hand, it looks like he's doing a pretty good job on recovering, so... Yeah, take that. We will take you down. 10%, 8%, 7%. No, he is not long for this world. Of course, if I don't take care of my shields, I'm not going to be long for the world either. Don't get cocky, kid. Victory is ours. As if there was ever any doubt. Thank you for your fortunate assistance. We should be fine from here. I want to catch up with our sister ship, the Sabak. They fled at the first sight of the Breen Raiders. Yeah, they went on ahead of you. I'd go ahead of schedule if I were you. We heard some of the slavers who attacked us talking about the Zarya system. If you want to take care of the Breen menace for good, you might want to start by looking for them there. Course laid in for the Zarya system, sir. The Zarya system appears to be nothing more than a broken planetoid, but perhaps we will find something that the Deferi missed. Standing by to engage on your command, sir. Do it. We will teach these Breen to leave the Deferi alone. Now see, this is how old this mission is. In a mission that was done today, we would have just warped automatically to the Zarya system and continued from there. But here, we gotta hoof it. The Kelvani Belt, I believe, is another area that was involved with that daily patrol mission I was speaking of earlier. And I want to say the Manic system was the other one, but I can't prove it. It's been a while. Alpha Zarya 30 is a hot G-class star that is very similar to the star at the center of the Sol system. However, it was not always so. The star was a cooler Class K star in the early 22nd century. Teferi scientists believe that the neutral metals in the core of the star came in contact with the source of protomatter, igniting the star and increasing its core temperature significantly. The resulting explosion destroyed the two worlds in close orbit around the star. Oops. Sir, that destroyed planet has a dilithium-rich core. It looks like the Breen have set up a mine inside the remains of the planetoid, and true to form, they're using all the captured Teferi as slave labor. We'll have to defeat the Breen picket squadrons before we can beam down to the mine. It looks like there is only a small force, sir. A pity. It will be too easy. But it is what it is. We will simply have to adapt. I realize in the universe with Borg in it, adapt is a dirty word, but nevertheless. Prepare to die! High level when those things work. Still will not be a simple fight. They rarely are. Luckily, the tractor beams have them locked down pretty good. And that's good because I'm trying to concentrate my fire in a single shield face to help my odds on putting down his hull a lot faster. %. He ain't gonna be around much longer, that's for sure. Oops, looks like I've aggroed another group. Well, far be it from me to give them an easy target. Don't worry, frigates. Your turn is coming. Oops, and now I'm being held by no less than 3 tractor beams. On the bright side, I think I've accidentally blown up one of the enemy ships already, which is a positive sign. Oh, no I did. Oh, yes I did. It's just I've aggroed the warship now too. I am not doing a very good job on this. Not aggroing everybody. It's rather quite embarrassing. Oh well. If I wanted it easy, I would not have signed up for the Klingon Defense Force. And then there was... Okay, looks like there's another set of picket ships that I missed. I thought there was only 3, but there's apparently 4. Nobody's perfect. Okay, he's hooked in. Now let's see if we can do a bit of significant damage. Oh, he is definitely going down. Either these guys are wimpier than I think they are, or I've made some significant improvements to this starship somewhere along the line with my understanding of some of the abilities. I'm not going to rule out both. Cloak! After all, I do want to get those ambush bonuses, because that is one of the Klingon recruitment milestones. Killing vessels after attacking them from ambush. And while I have a long way to go, that doesn't mean I should just stop. So far, so good. I'm alive, and they are... well, they're alive too, technically, but I'm hoping to correct that condition soon. Alright, boys, if you're close enough to hit me with your tractor beams, you're close enough for me to hit you with mine. And then there was one. Let's see. You're hitting me with one tractor beam, and I'm hitting you with 5. I wonder who's going to win that fight. I was getting ready to prepare an alpha strike on him, and it turns out he was already practically dead. That's the last of the scout squadron, sir. Unfortunately, we can't just beam up the Deferi. The Breen have some sort of transporter disruptor field in place. We need to get down there, disable it, before we can rescue the Deferi slave laborers. Alright, usual away team. Get ready to rumble! The Breen are using disruption fields to interfere with transporters key to Deferi biology. We should be able to beam in and out safely, as will the Breen. However, we must disable these inhibitors before we can beam out the Deferi survivors. Once we've killed the Breen guards, there should be nobody left to re-enable the transport disruptors. And here we have it, the Deferi in their prison cells. These prison cells are tied to the transporter inhibitors. Shutting the inhibitors down should allow us to rescue the captured Deferi. I'm also reading additional Deferi life signs on other levels. Based on preliminary readings, all cells are connected to the same mechanism. Well then, it's to be a simple killing spree. First things first, you guys like the cold so much? Have a little fire, Scarecrow! Well, we sort of blew through them pretty horribly, didn't we? So it's time to wander these tunnels and kill everybody in our way. The map is pretty straightforward. I mean, take a look at it. It's basically a loop. So, you know, sweet. Oh, it says Cryo Grenades. Gotta watch those grenades. I'm not gonna bother using Cryo Grenades on, you know, a species adapted to cold. That would just be dumb. Oops, did I miss somebody? Oh geez, Sarek went down. Yeah, I guess we can't really go any further without our doctor. Oh, and I see that our people have already gotten into trouble. Oh, no you don't. No running away from me. Are you guys shooting through walls? Because that's what you're doing. No shooting through walls. I don't actually know that they were shooting through a wall. But why take chances if you don't have to? I'm not going to ignore it. I mean, I'm walking right by it. And we'll deactivate the first inhibitor. Continuing with our magical mystery tour. Oh, no you don't, boys. It does my heart proud to see my crew taking the enemy apart like that. Yeah, those guards, those Act Shed guards, again, those are the guys with the freeze rays, so, and the freeze grenades. Best to take them out quickly. Ooh. It feels like the place is a little unstable. Tactician, huh? Well, we'll see how good your tactics are against me. Answer, not very. Another transport inhibitor, let's get that out of the way. One more inhibitor. Plenty more breen. Oh, and there's the other inhibitor right at the other end. How convenient. Oops, don't be messing with our medical generator. Oh, I guess they did. Or maybe it was his medical generator. I admit I wasn't paying as close attention as I probably should have. I'll let my crew deal with the last guy standing. Meanwhile, I'm going to scan this ore. And then deactivate the last inhibitor. And there's one more group of slave masters just begging for a bat'leth up the kneecaps. I was once a slave master like you, and I took a bat'leth to the knee. Ooh, ouch. And we'll just deactivate this force field, which was the main reason I didn't go from right to left instead of left to right. That's all the disruptors and guards, sir. I'm picking up a new contact aboard the station. We may have aroused the curiosity of the Breen commander. We should make sure that a ferry have beamed away safely before investigating this new threat. Well, we'll go over here, and what do you know? Empty prison cells. That is a job well done. Give the transporter chief of the Salah my compliments on his swift action. We have confirmation that all Deferi prisoners have transported safely. We are clear to return. You are the one known as Jadan. I was expecting someone more impressive. After all, Thought Wen was one of my most reliable veterans. Defeating him must have pushed you to your limits. Nah, not really. He kind of went down like a chump. I'd like to say I am looking forward to meeting you in person, but because I expect Fat Gran to end your life here, I'm afraid that won't be possible. You've been interesting, but ultimately insignificant. Farewell. Fat Trell, huh? We'll remember your name. And look, see, doesn't he kind of look kind of like that character from Star Wars that Princess Leia was disguised as? Boosh, or whatever his name was? And there we are. Thought Gran. Let me introduce you to the patented Kirk double kick. Yeah, I'm afraid Thought Gran was not sufficient. I thought not. I'm not ashamed. Now that the officer in charge has been dealt with, this entire mining operation should fall apart. But who sent that message? Thought Trell? Could he be behind all of the problems the ferry are having? If that is the case, we must find the cowardly dog and destroy him. Valera, never change. Command should be able to send patrols to ensure that the Breen don't set up shop here again. Or perhaps we will be able to convince the Deferi to surrender the rights to this dilithium mine to the Empire. We can leave whenever you're ready, sir. We shall depart. Now, interestingly, I think we can have a chat with Jimpak as to the progress we're making. For example, the Deferi continue to require the strength of the Empire. Yeah, we've been kicking their butts around, Chancellor. We should have destroyed the Breen at the end of the Dominion War. It seems that we will now have a second chance. The Deferi are honorable, but they are weak. They require our protection. Show them the benefits of being sheltered under the wings of our empire. The Breen are probably looking for slaves to work their mines and serve on their starships. It is inconceivable that the Deferi should serve anyone but the Empire. Teach the Breen the error of their ways. Gotta like trying to get the cadence of his vocals there. The survivors are on their way home, and we will be sending an expedition out to assess the viability of operating the mines ourselves. I think it would be wise to consider a joint operation with your government. The resources in the Zarya system are rare, and the best way to maintain the balance may be to share them with you. Thank you for all of your assistance. Your actions help to preserve the balance. So, transvasic torpedo, yay us. And this opens up a couple more of the daily missions. Emancipation and rescue Deferi captives. And again, these are no biggie. This one's just a daily where you basically do the same map, I believe. Yep, dilithium mines in Zarya and freed Deferi prisoners there. So it's basically exactly what I just did, minus the Thought Gran fight. And Emancipation is something... Okay, I was doing Emancipation first. The Ferry Captives is a different one, which is in the Kelvani belt. And we go after the patrol and defeat them. It's nothing special. And again, it gives them a modest amount of dilithium, a really modest amount of dilithium ore. And a modest amount of XP. And now, the next episode in this arc. Continuing our theme. Cold comfort. But first, I think I had some Admiralty missions that are done. One. Just the one. Okay, let me think. I'm at level 4 here. I need 6,000 XP for Ferengi to get to the next level. That'll be 2,000. That gets me close to 3,000. Oh, grab another Ferengi one. Oh, this one requires no tactical skill whatsoever. So really, the big thing to pay attention to here is science, and that will certainly do it all by himself. And that's probably the last one I have to worry about today, because 2 hours, 1 hour, unless one of these guys has something like 15 minutes, and it doesn't. So I think we can be pretty sure that I won't have to worry about it. So that brings us to Cold Comfort. And this is one of the more interesting missions of this arc. We are receiving a distress signal in the Rava system. A Deferi transport weathered a Breen attack, but they have taken heavy casualties and are requesting immediate assistance. My people do not have military ships, Dahar Master, and I am loath to send a lightly armored rescue vessel into such a dangerous situation. Please, you must do whatever you can to help them. Now, the rewards are the usual trifecta: dilithium, expertise, experience points, and one of the following: a rapid reload transphasic torpedo launcher, which is something I am much more likely to play with. I especially like the part about 40% bonus shield penetration. Hey, I like that. And, well, it's rapid fire. It has an 8-second recharge. To put it in perspective, that is where is the recharge stat for the photons? 6-second recharge, but photons are, you know, the really basic torpedoes. Or I can grab a crate of Deferi snow tubers. And you might be wondering, why would I want Deferi snow tubers? Why do I want leafy vegetable-like stuff? What's the point? Well, as people discovered once upon a time, and this used to be a much bigger thing than it is today, it involves tribbles. See, one of the things that really don't get mentioned a lot here is that if you loot a tribble and it's in your inventory, and if you have any food in your inventory, the food will disappear, replaced by another tribble. So yes, just like in the Star Trek episodes that they featured in, eating food makes them multiply. And sometimes, depending on the food they eat, they might become a different genus of tribble. Now, if you feed them snow tubers, they will generate a cryo tribble. Now, you can pet the tribbles and occasionally get benefits from them. Unless, of course, you happen to be a Klingon, because, well, as everyone who understands Star Trek knows, tribbles hate Klingons. At least they used to. With all the changes they make in the game all the time, heaven only knows. If I get another tribble, I'll try to remember to grab it and equip it and try petting it, and you can see what happens. Of course, that's presuming I remember that I even wanted to do that. Do I have some colonists here? Let's get them in my inventory. They're taking up space in my standard inventory, where I could put them in my passenger bay and be happier with them. And since I have these people there, let's see. Can I relocate them? Not from there. Operations. Deport to... Ooh, I like this one. Deport them to the perimeter where I can get dilithium for them. No, that'll get me colonists. I don't want to get colonists. I want to ditch colonists. Oh heck, since I'm here, was there any marauding missions? One. Because I'm cognizant of the fact that one of the things on my Klingon recruitment remains getting to level 4 marauding, which will give me an adept pod duty officer, which is kind of clever. But it is a long road to get to. I haven't even gotten to level rank 2 yet. Getting to rank 4, frankly, is not looking likely. Oh, cripes. I should be doing the Klingon Admiralty campaign, because I get something from... Well, I feel silly now. I've been focusing on the Federation for the specialization points. I've been focusing on the Ferengi for the dilithium. But I've got this. Of course, the reward is a Bird of Prey Admiralty card, which means I probably could care less. Still, though... Upgrade the Battle of the Stova Corps to at least Mark 15. I didn't think... Okay. Help me understand this. This is talking about improving the Battle of the Stova Corps to Mark 14. But it has no mark. It's an infinite, non-leveled item. How could you even get it? Well, apparently you can. Do I have any of those nice, handy... Oh, no I don't, because look. I right-clicked on it to do the... upgrade it. Oh, there we are. How many points do I... Oh, okay, so it starts... It's already at Mark 12. I guess I can improve it further. Okay, that makes sense. Sadly, I do not have any ultimate upgrades with me. I got 15,000, and so I can get myself around 30,000, but that doesn't even get me to 13. Well, at some point, maybe I'll get a hold of a better upgrade toy. Unless... I have something in my account bank. Let's visit the Starship Bridge and see if I can look at my account bank. I don't know if I have any upgrade kits there. I mean, it's possible I might have put something in my account bank from another character. So it doesn't hurt to look. The worst that can happen is I look and there's nothing there, which would not be the first time that kind of thing has happened. Of course, heavens forfend that the game load up in a timely manner. Come on, my ship's not that complicated. And here we are. So I believe my ready room is over here. And the account bank is here. And no, that's the ship upgrade token. Temporal defense, specialization points. Huh. Should I? Nah, I don't want him to benefit that much on his own. I just want to see if I've got upgrade kits, and I don't. Okay, it was worth a look. Grumble, grumble, grumble. So we're going to go back to the exterior. Even though why they have the beam out effect for that, I do not know. And apparently I didn't actually accept the mission yet, so let's do that now. And we will zap ourselves. We will try... And you know what? It's right here. With my luck, I'd zap myself all the way back to Defera, and that would be inconvenient. Hey, Chancellor Jimpok, anything new to say? I guess Salah reporting in. I hear that you have been earning glory in battle against the Breen in Deferi space. It is always good to show other planets the strength and honor of the Klingon Empire. The Deferi are powerless against the Breen. They don't have any military ships. Our Empire owes a debt of honor to the Deferi, as you may recall. Your honorable conduct and loyalty to the Emperor and the Empire will not go unnoticed. The Breen are a nuisance, and this will be an excellent opportunity to show them that they are not immune to the wrath of the Klingons. If we protect the Deferi, they may even give up their preserver secrets willingly. Continue to do battle and show your strength. Well, he may be disappointed in this mission. Although you never know. Oh, Bravo 2 is right over here. The Rava system is a binary system with a blue dwarf star in orbit of a much larger Class B star. Light from 2 stars should make Rava 2 much warmer than it actually is, but a thick layer of theta radiation in the upper atmosphere reflects much of the energy from the stars, keeping the average surface temperatures on the planet low. More than 70% of the landmass of Rava 2 is covered with snow and ice for the majority of the solar year. Welcome to the land of snow and ice. But we are not interested in the land of snow and ice. We are more interested in a refugee, well, not a refugee ship exactly, but a damaged ship. But we're all about the rescue here because, you know, when you think first aid and paramedic vehicles, you automatically think Klingon vessels. Why, yes, that was sarcasm. There is something very unique about this mission, though. See if you can figure out what it is by the end. That's the viewer challenge of the day. The answer is not slow loading time, however. We're just going to take that as a given. I mean, gee, Merry Christmas. It's not that complicated a map. Captain, we're being hailed by a disabled Deferi frigate. Putting it on screen now. Thank you for responding to our distress call. We were boarded by the Breen and have taken severe casualties. We could use any medical aid you could render. Please approach and beam over as soon as you can. Very well. Bring us into transporter range. Please beam over any medical supplies and personnel you can spare. We'll send your transporter chief the coordinates to our trauma center. So we will slowly load it. You know, for as much time as it took to load that map, and that was it, I am not impressed. One day I will find out what is affecting the loading speed for these things. And this is still faster than the previous map. Man, I arrived just in time. Everybody just fell down. Now, I did originally say a number of streams back when we were doing the Rhineland Mystery that those were the first time that your captain was operating alone. I was wrong. This is the first mission, to my knowledge, that you acted alone. So we're going to have a chat with Dr. Casa. By the balance, you couldn't have arrived at a better time. I need every available person to help with patients. I think the Breen take pleasure in causing pain. Few of our crew are killed, but many have been injured. If you want to help, I need someone at table 7. Take the patient's medical history and triage the injury. If it is a minor issue, go ahead and treat them so we can make room for another patient. Yes, because, you know, if there's one thing that I'm known for, it's my medical skill. You know, if you needed medical assistance, I could have sent On the other hand, he was suspected of poisoning the previous doctor. Maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to throw him near so many other doctors. Please, it hurts. Help me. What hurts? It's my left side. I took a disruptor hit from a Breen rifle. Please, I need something for the pain. Do you have anything that will help? What's the treatment for disruptor injuries? Selleck! You're not Selleck. Okay, fine, Siege. Relay it to me. There are several medications available from the Deferi medkits that we can use to treat this patient's pain. Oh god, don't make me pronounce all these. Acetylithin, bicaridine, hydrocortisone, metorapan, and morphenolog are all indicated for pain relief. Once the patient is stable, we can treat the disruptor hit directly with a protoplaser, which should fix the damage done to the cellular structure. You have any allergies? I'm highly allergic to metorapan. I was given it once and my airway swelled until it was completely blocked. I almost died. Okay, don't do metorapan. I don't think I need to know anything about the metorapan allergy. Are you taking any medications right now? No? Do I look like I should be? Do I look like a doctor? Have you been treated for anything related to this issue? How often do you think I'm shot by a breed? The last time I saw a physician was 2 years ago. I was treated for polywater intoxication. You know, this is getting more hilarious by the second, so. When was the last time you ate? Midday, I guess. What does this have to do with anything? Why haven't you given me something for the pain yet? I'm enjoying this a lot more than I should be. What were you doing before you were injured? I was repairing a power conduit on deck 2 when the Breen came out of engineering and shot me. They didn't even give me a chance to surrender. I wouldn't have fought them. What did you last eat? Select a medication. Analgesics. And here we have the list. Acetylithin, bicaridine, hydrocortisone, metorapan, which we're ignoring, and morphenolog. Let's take a look at what they do. This one is indicated for pain management of sports-related injuries and treats muscle spasms. That's just the kind of thing you want to use for disruptor burns, right? Wrong. Okay, how about bicaridine? Bicaridine is indicated for decreasing pain associated with serious trauma injuries. Treatment with bicaridine has been known to cause addictive behavior in patients who are treated with the drug for long periods of time, more than 10 days. Metorapan is a non-addictive substitute that is preferred in most cases of serious trauma. Let's kind of hold that one for a future possibility. I'd hate to accidentally addict the Deferi to a drug for the long term. It would look bad. How about the hydrocortisone? Hydrocortisone is indicated for the treatment of pain in the cranial or upper spinal regions, often used as a treatment for headache. Yeah, I think she got shot in the arm, not the head, so let's keep moving on. We know Metorapan is not the way to go, so morphinolog. Treatment of chronic pain. Used to treat side effects arising from the long-term use of other medications. Well, you know what? Despite the downside, it looks like bicaridine is the way to go. So we are going to load it into the hypospray and inject it in. Ah, the pain from the disruptor wound is subsiding. This feels much better. Thank you. Bicaridine is having the desired effect, Captain. Now we can use a protoplaser on the wound to treat it without causing undue pain to the patient. So we'll do that. And there we go. A successful treatment. I could have been a doctor. Of course, why would I want to? Not much glory in sewing people back up. Good work with that last patient. Has anyone ever told you you have a talent for medicine? No. I need someone to check out the patient on table 3. I would appreciate any help you can give us. Okay, well, this one's at least sitting up. Mother, is that you? What hurts? An older boy named Tosca used to take my favorite toys when I brought them to school. If I tried to fight him to get them back, he'd break the toys so that no one could play with them. My mother said Tosca was out of balance. Yeah, that's great. Allergies? I hated the taste of my mother's stew when I was young. She tried to convince me it tasted like spring, but I thought it tasted like bugs. You know, we're entering in the realm of too much information here. Are you taking any medications? Why am I even bothering? I used to play in the mud every time it rained. My mother thought I'd get sick from playing outside in the cold and the damp, but I never got sick, not even once. Have you been treated for anything related to this issue? You're expecting no real answer here. I loved it when my mother would sweep me up into her arms and hug me tight. She smelled like love and cooking herbs. Yeah, we're going to skip the remainder of these things because clearly he seems disoriented and unaware of his surroundings. I agree, Captain. It may be a symptom of brain trauma, but we cannot rule out a psychological breakdown until we do a mental status check. The stress of the brain attack may have been more than the patient's mind could process. Mother, is that you? Do you know your name? My sister had a doll she used to call Ilka. Do you know what time it is? I loved catching umek insects at twilight. The light from the descending sun would make their wings glow like golden fire. Do you know where you are? Can we have our dessert now? I've finished all my vegetables. Do you know what year it is? My sister is 3 years older than I am. That meant my mom let her do all the fun things, so I had to sit and watch. Mother? Is that you? Altered mental state, alright. There's something obviously wrong with this mental status. No! I recommend we scan the brain tissue for deep trauma. A hyperencephalogram, I can't believe I said that okay in the first try, should reveal if there's any damage. Tell me the story of the preservers again? Yeah, he is definitely loopy. Neural scanner, where is one? Good, let's grab that and let's see if we can find anything in his brain. Captain, it appears that there is a cortical implant in this patient's brain that is causing the disorientation and delusions. There is an extremely high amount of neural activity in the areas around the implant. Perhaps if we were to decrease the activity with an anesthetic, the patient would be more responsive. Okay, so we're going to have to do a little bit of playing with drugs. How about anesthetizine? This been used in gaseous form to incapacitate large numbers of hostile humanoids in a confined space. Catchy, but you know, let's see if we can find something better. Anetrazine. Used for calming hyperactive nerve impulses. Use of anetrazine has been known to interface with cranial implants by decreasing their effectiveness. Interfere with them. I think we have a winner here. I don't even have to go any further. On the other hand, let's make sure. Axonol. Gaseous form. Not recommended for patients with severe trauma. Well, I think that rules that one out. Melanex. Causes... it's an anesthetic that causes temporary skin discoloration. Neurozine. Not recommended in doses greater than 100 parts per million. Well, you know what? This netrazine, this feels like it's the winner. If it's monkeying with cranial implants, then that feels like it's the winner here, since this guy seems to have a cortical implant in his brain. QED. Where am I? I remember the Breen attack, and there was this medic. He seemed sad. The Breen implanted me with a cortical implant. It's been forcing me to relieve memories from my past. Please help get it out of my head. I don't want to live like this. Yes, I think that the best we use here is a lobotomy. The anetrazine worked, Captain. Removing a cortical implant is a tricky process. We should confer with Dr. Casa. Yeah, why don't we tell the real doctor that we have a real problem here? I'm not familiar with any technology like this. Any attempt I'd make at removing it would be based upon an educated guess. We have some captured Breen in the brig waiting for transport to a holding facility. Perhaps you could question them. One of the monsters who did this to my patient might know how to reverse the process. Well, not a problem. Do we have any of those old agony booths? No? No mind sifters? Working with the Federation and Starfleet has taken all the fun out of Klingon interrogation. Sir, there are a few things you should know about the Breen before we talk to them. The Breen are a warrior race. They do what is expedient and will often take prisoners rather than kill. You get more work out of a slave than a dead man, after all. I spit upon their expediency, but to the Breen it is only logical. They survive, but they do not live as we do. Strangely, though, reports from the interrogations of Breen prisoners reveal that the Breen have a strong sense of personal honor and are troublesome when that honor is insulted. If you want to get more information out of them, I suggest that you do not insult them or suggest that they kill without cause. Okay, we'll try to remember that. Let's chat with you. Leave me alone. I do not speak to animals. What's your name? Look at you, cowering in the shadow of FotR's. What hope could the Deferi possibly have against might like his? You know, we kind of kicked the butt out of every thought we've run into so far. I will not answer your questions. Go bother someone else. Tell me about FotR's. FotR's has more power and vision than a pathetic being like yourself can possibly comprehend. The Deferi will be the first to fall to his might, but they will not be the last. He will not stop until the entire Alpha Quadrant serves the Breen Confederacy. Someday soon, I will stand on the blasted remains of your homeworld and celebrate our victory. I will grind the remains of your leaders into dust under my boot heels. FotR's will be the man who makes this possible. That was a very impressive monologue. Too bad you'll be rotting in a cell, but you know, hey. Okay, how about you? Torture me if you wish, but I will never betray the Breen Confederacy. What is your name? Okay, well, he's clearly not talking. Who else we got? I got a guy over here. Are you here to let me go? What is your name? I am Tran. Well, clearly, there's more to this than seems meets the eye, because he's actually speaking to me, and I'm having a new set of dialogue options. Ask your questions, warrior. What is your story? I do not understand what you mean. I am a soldier. I have no story. Everyone has a story. What led you to be here? I am a combat medic in the 5th Order. I serve the Breen Confederacy. I was ordered to go to this system by my superiors. I am sure that you have encountered other Breen in the Deferi sector. What are you doing here? I am currently incarcerated in the Deferi brig. Yeah, that's the mathematician's answer right there. I was captured near the bridge when my boarding party was overwhelmed by Deferi security teams. While this ship may not be carrying military personnel, a 3-man boarding party stands little chance against 4 fully armed security teams defending their ship and their captain. We gave away the terrain advantage, and now we are paying the price. You must have known this wasn't a military ship. Why did you attack it? I do not feel comfortable continuing this conversation. My commanding officer is in a nearby cell, and he can overhear everything that we are saying. While I do not agree with his actions in this matter, I respect his position of authority. I will not throw his dishonor in his face. Okay, we can fix that. Let me just go over here and cut his throat. I don't suppose the Deferi would actually want me to cut his throat. Oh, wait. Enable acoustic dampening field. All audio signals entering and leaving this cell are being blocked by an acoustic dampening field. Well, let's try this. Hey, ugly! Can you see me? Your breath is funny. I can see your breath coming out of your helmet. You must have a leak. Yep, no reaction. It's working. Okay, Tran. Your commander cannot hear what we're saying now, so you can speak freely. My superior thought these Deferi civilians might have the information for which we have been searching. While I might have disagreed with his choice of target, it is not a soldier's place to question his commanding officer. I think my dissension was the reason I was selected to join the assault on the ship's bridge, a dangerous task in the best of circumstances, and one that had the least chance of success. Did you object to your commanding officer about this assignment? I'm not sure how you run things in the Klingon Empire, but in the Breen Confederacy, we obey our commanders. Ooh, that was a diss. I may not always be pleased by what I am ordered to do, but I understand that there is a goal that must be achieved and that I may not have all the facts that my superiors do. Decisions. Decisions. Either one of these options feels like it could be a trap. Either one of these could be considered insulting. And unfortunately, if I give the wrong answer, I may fail the mission and have to do it all over again, which would, suck. Do you believe the goal you were attempting to achieve was worth killing civilians? I didn't want to attack this ship. There is nobility to being a soldier. When I enter battle, I know I could be killed. I know that others will die at my hands, but that is what we must do. It is part of being a soldier. Civilians are not part of this unspoken agreement. They do not wake up each day and know in their hearts it could be their last. They should be out of bounds as targets for people like you and me. There is no honor in fighting someone who is unprepared to fight back. I regret I had orders to kill these civilians. More than that, I regret that I carried out those orders. What were your orders? I'm a combat medic. Normally my task is to repair the injuries of my fellow soldiers. On this mission, I was tasked with capturing civilians alive and fitting them with subspace cortical implants. These devices are barbaric, even by our standards. We use them to obtain memories from the most obstinate of interrogation subjects. This particular implant has a subspace relay intended to capture and transmit these memories, so that my superiors can sift through the secrets locked in our victims' minds, even as we moved on to implant more subjects. So why do you do it? What information do they have that you need so badly? I am not sure what exactly the commanders wanted to learn from these people. I can only guess that my superiors wanted information that they felt could be held by any member of the fairy population. The cortical implants were calibrated to bring long-term memories to the surface, even going back to the target's childhood. Perhaps they wanted to learn something that even a Teferi child might know. Would the probe Teferi know what memories are being searched? Perhaps, if they had the mental fortitude to recall the memories that were triggered during their interrogation. The pain from the implants can be quite intense. How do we remove it? The removal of the cortical implant is a very delicate procedure. The implants are intended to be strong enough to survive the interrogation process, but too difficult to be removed by the subject or anyone else. I have worked with these implants for some time. Have your doctors talk to me, and I will tell them what they need to do to remove them. Success! Let's go talk to Dr. Casa again. Let him know that we have a qualified combat medic who will be more than thrilled to remove the cortical implant. So I managed to get all those questions right. Didn't insult the guy. Didn't make him feel threatened. Well, more than being in a cell. This is just the information we needed. I will round up a surgical team and we will begin the process of removing the implant immediately. I spent some time talking to the patients while you were in the brig. It sounded to me like the brain implant was triggering memories from the patient's early childhood, many of them involving rhymes and songs. You're kidding, right? Most of fairy parents and grandparents sing to their children and tell them stories of our past and our traditions. A common theme in our songs is the preservers. We sing of their travels through the universe, their efforts to maintain the balance, and their great archive. My children are particularly fond of songs about the Preserver Archive, a hidden place where they left all of their technology and records of the ancient days. It is an interesting story, but I don't know if a place like that could actually exist. After all, we're talking about children's rhymes. Captain, the Bream must believe that the Preserver Archive exists. There is no other explanation as to why they would target the fairy civilians in order to obtain information about nursery rhymes. Before we leave, Tran has requested to talk to you again. He's waiting in his cell. Well, let's have a chat. Run, 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 run. Oh, you know, we're on a... I guess it's a freighter. We're not talking about well, then again, battlecruisers are pretty big too, so... Tran! Thank you for returning. I know that helping you was the honorable thing to do, but because I did so, I can never return to the Breen Confederacy. Therefore, I would like to request asylum from the Klingon Empire. I, however, am not alone in this request. There are a small group of Breen that share my feelings. We know that anyone who attacks innocents cannot rightfully call himself a warrior. If you accept us, we would all like to join you. I will give you the information necessary to contact them. It may take some time before they are willing to respond. Your future actions will help speed up that process. Now, fun fact, when this mission first came out, an optional reward was a Breen bridge officer. Nowadays, however, the only way you can get him is by picking up something in Mud's Market on the Zen store. We've received a communication based on Tran's information. I can't be sure it was received, so at this point I believe the only thing we can do is wait for a response. Who could have imagined there would be Breen capable of honor? I would never have believed it had I heard stories secondhand. The Teferi are now in control of the situation. Are you ready to leave the system? Yes, I am. This mission, the thing that made this mission unique of all the missions that had come before it, is the fact that it had no combat whatsoever. Not a single bat'leth swung, not a single hand weapon fired. Not bad, eh? I remember stories about the preservers from my childhood, and of course we have ruins linked to them on Defera. But I have never heard of an intact preserver installation. The Breen, however, are taking these stories quite seriously, and if the Breen manage to acquire preserver-level technology, they could shift the balance of power in the entire Alpha Quadrant. It's lucky you were able to establish a connection with Tran. I believe that he was sent by the Powers to help maintain the balance in the galaxy, and I am grateful. I know your intelligence service has more questions for him, but after that, I promise I'll do what I can to see that he and any other Breen who disagree with their government's actions are not forgotten. One of your commanding officers was requesting to speak with you. You should consider meeting with him when you are done here. So we're going to grab the transphasic torpedo launcher because it's smarter. And I need to go back to the ferry sector in order to actually speak with my commanding officer, so we'll just zip our way down that way. Slowly and surely. What's my warp core look like? Okay, I really can't improve on that. Okay, we're close enough. Chancellor Jimpock. The Deferi continue to require the strength of the Empire. We protected a freighter and got a few Breen out of it. Excellent! I have faith that the Breen will yield their secrets when subjected to enough heat. While the Empire is not in the business of charity missions, if you keep saving the ferry ships, they will be honor-bound to treat us as allies. Send the Breen scurrying back to their frozen world. I would send the captives to Rura Pente, but they would find it too hospitable. And that will be where we wrap things up for the day. It's at the 10 o'clock. We're a little bit past the 10 o'clock hour, so we are at the end of the stream. We will pick up the Deferi adventure and see if we can discover more about the preservers. Let's go another hour. No. That is not going to be happening tonight, Cap. But I will be picking this up next Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I also do Saturday afternoon streams for Star Citizen, starting at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, whether you're watching this live or video on demand, either on Twitch or on YouTube. Always happy to have people stop by, always happy to chat with folks, and I hope to see you again next time. And until then, this is Korath Landwalker, signing off.